Hey folks, we are the 2019-2020 GLSEN National Student Council. Thank you for joining us for GLSEN's Breaking the Silence rally. My name is Elle Martinez. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Hey everyone, I'm Ayana. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Hello, I'm Chris Lee. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm from New York.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Daly. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm from New York.
Hey everyone, my name is Darren. I go by any and all pronouns, and I'm from Pennsylvania.
Hello, my name is Eric. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm from Alabama.
Hey everybody, I'm Jess Chiraboga. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm from Glendora, California.
Hi y'all, I'm JP. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Hi y'all, I'm Matthew Kell. I am from Houston, Texas, and I use he, him, his pronouns.
Hi everyone, my name's Oliver Pittman. I use they, them, and he, him pronouns, and I'm from Maine.
Hi everyone, I'm Reggie. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm from Wisconsin.
Today, we participated in the Day of Silence to raise awareness against the bullying and erasure of LGBTQ people in K-12 schools.
And now we will break the silence together as one community.
Scream, say, or sign an empowering word, dance, sing, ring a bell, or whatever empowers you to reclaim that silence, and together we will enter ourselves into the narrative.
On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Love myself!
Yes, we have so much in store for you tonight. You will hear from GLSEN Student Advocate of the Year, 10 Friends like Fashion King, Emma Gonzales, musician, and the GSA of the Year.
To kick us off, I'll be passing the mic to someone who I have so much love for, GLSEN Student Advocate of the Year, Elle Smith from Austin, Texas.
Thank you for that introduction, Elle. And thank you to the entire National Student Council for all of the amazing work that you do. Today, you join hundreds of thousands of students around the world in observing the Day of Silence. Throughout our history, our community has often been silenced by forces of hate and bigotry, so it is imperative that we remember, today and every day, that our voices give us strength. I am so grateful to everyone who participated in this event. Some of you chose to stay silent all day or posted about the Day of Silence on social media. Others lit candles to honor those who have been rendered voiceless or read about the ancestors who have gotten us to where we are today. Regardless of how you engaged with the Day of Silence, I hope you have all had a chance to reflect on the ways in which your voice, even in its absence, gives you power. When I was a freshman in high school, first getting involved in activism, I spent much of my time advocating for political change. Texas was considering its infamous bathroom bill, which would have barred trans people from using the restroom which most closely matched their gender identity. I wanted to do everything that I could to ensure that bill didn't pass, so I called politicians, I sent emails, I left voicemails, I had letter writing campaigns, I mailed postcards, and it felt great to be using my voice to try to make my state safer for people like me. However, in that first year, all of my efforts were either met with silence or rejection. I became incredibly discouraged and I felt that it was impossible to make change. I was close to giving up, but instead of doing so, I reached out to an amazing staff member at an Austin-based nonprofit for LGBTQ+ youth. She and I had an hour-long phone conversation in which she told me that stories change the world. She said that when you are met with resistance, you can try to change someone's mind by bombarding them with facts and statistics, but chances are they've heard it all already. What they haven't heard is your story. Everyone has a story, and I want to encourage all of you to tell yours. Tell the world what makes you who you are and why it is so important that you have the freedom and protection to be yourself. In October of 2019, I mobilized the organization I founded, the Central Texas GSA Coalition, to advocate for an inclusive sexual health education curriculum in the school district neighboring mine. Before the school board voted on whether to implement the curriculum, I hosted a press conference in which I told the story of my experience with sex ed and invited other students and community members to do the same. People as young as 9 told stories about how difficult it was to understand their identity without having information from teachers and parents about what it means to be queer or trans. Others talked about the importance of the adults in their lives who did share helpful, accurate information with them. Everyone shared different stories that evening, and the board voted unanimously in favor of the implementation of the new curriculum. Because students and parents and teachers like all of you used their voices to talk about why inclusive sex ed was important to them, thousands of students will now have access to comprehensive, medically accurate information about health, sex, and relationships. Events like this highlight why our voices are so important. Our voices allow us to share our pain and our joy. Our voices allow us to show others how we navigate the world. Our voices allow us to express who we are and inspire others to do the same. Our voices allow us to shift systems and change lives. Your voice is perhaps the most powerful tool you have, and I hope that today helped affirm that. I encourage all of you to continue using your voices to challenge forces of hatred, to combat ableism, classism, fatphobia, homophobia, misogyny, racism, transphobia, whorephobia, xenophobia, and all other forms of prejudice and structural violence. Use your voice to generate kindness. Tell your friends that you love them, post affirming messages on social media, give compliments freely and openly. Use your voice to advocate for yourself. Demand respect and ensure your needs are met. No matter your age, gender, sexual orientation, or position in life, your voice matters. I urge you to take every opportunity to share your beliefs with the world and listen to others as they do the same. Your voice is a powerful tool. Use it wisely and use it often. Thank you.
Heck yes. Thank you, Elle. I'm so excited to introduce one of my favorite people who taught me the importance of a patterned shirt and a French tuck on a little show called Queer Eye. You already know who it is, Tan France.
Hello everyone, Tan France here. Congrats on an amazing GLSEN Day of Silence. I saw so many posts and so many videos of you all taking the pledge to be silent as you protest anti-LGBTQ bullying. It was so moving and incredibly powerful. I also love that GLSEN has launched a voter registration campaign called Break the Silence. Your vote, your voice, as we must meet the challenges ahead for the LGBTQ community in 2020. Now, I can't vote in the US as I still vote across the pond, but know that I am with you and I am so inspired by your activism. I hope that you will go to glisten.org/vote to register today or sign up to be reminded to vote on the day that you turn 18. Please all stay safe and healthy in these very unprecedented times. I am thinking of you all and sending my love. Bye.
All right. So boilerplate introduction first. Wow, that was pretty awesome. Thank you, Tan, for popping in and sharing the registration campaign. Your vote, your voice. Now, I'm very excited to introduce our next guest, Emma Gonzales.
Hi.
Hi. So it's so great to have you here. And first, we just want to start with, how are you? I'm sure you're practicing social distancing like all the rest of us. So yeah. How have you been able to stay connected with your community in all of this?
Well, I've mainly been doing a lot of art in my time off. My dad found a bunch of canvases in the garage that he hasn't used in years. And so I've just been going completely nuts, painting everything possible. My family is like actually really cool. So I know that there's a lot of people who are stuck with family members that they really don't want to be with, but we've been watching movies a lot and taking turns making dinner and actually hanging out with each other and messing with our cat. And it's just been a really good time.
Yeah.
And like we are fortunate and privileged enough to be in a good situation, and we are like not taking that for granted at all. We are using every second that we can. And of course we are practicing social distancing. We're all taking turns like leaving the house and using masks and stuff. And everybody's like, Emma, you're not allowed to leave. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because you have asthma. And I'm like, it's not that big, it's fine. I can go to the public. They're like, no.
Totally.
Yeah, they're like, Emma, you're not allowed to leave. And I'm like, cool. Just gonna like completely get no sun and turn gray, but that's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, the melanin's gonna have to suffer for a little bit.
But after this, we'll all be at the beach like nonstop, getting that sun. So it's fine.
I'm looking forward to August. Once everything's died down, we're just gonna live our best lives.
Yeah, we're gonna be in sweaters and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I'm very here for it. So you're most known as being the founder of the March for Our Lives movement, but what some people know, some people don't, is that you were also the president of your GSA in high school. And so a lot of people who are going to be watching this are also their GSA presidents. So can you share a little bit about what that experience was like and how that kind of got you started in activism and shaped your approach?
Yeah, I really loved being the president of the GSA at our high school, which has now been, the title of our GSA has changed from Gay Straight Alliance to Gender Something Alliance or something like that. But I'm like cool. I'm like, yeah, they're keeping it forward. Like, yeah, that's what we need to do. So my vice president was actually like they're my friend in college, like they're my roommate, and so we're like still on really good terms, and we do like everything together because we went to the same high school and now we're going to the same college, so like we're roommates together and it's really cool. And they were roommates, and like God, they were roommates. So like we would go to like Walmart and talk with the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, which was like, you know, the entire staff was like probably 5 people for the club because it's high school. And you know, we would just like think about like, what would we want to learn? What would we want to talk about? Like, let's talk about gender stereotypes on this day. And we would have like a drawing of like a woman and a drawing of like a man. And then we would like say like, well, what are the things that you typically think of when you think of this gender and blah, 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 blah. And then at the end we would like rip up the pictures and we'd be like, yeah, free from gender roles and stuff. And yeah, and stuff like, you know, I would watch a documentary about like, you know, like the life and death of Marsha P. Johnson, and then I would take notes, and then I would like give this really long-winded lecture in class, and I would literally call it class. I would call it class. It was a club, but I would like think of it as, I would think of myself as like a professor, and I would just like try to educate people as much as possible. And the class was, I keep saying class, sorry. The club was like, we had like 30 kids, like on and off. Like we had a decent amount of kids who would come to club, and we set up a movie day at my house, and we gave it like an incognito name so parents didn't know, and I won't say the name because I know that people are probably still practicing that, but you know, I was like, yeah, come over to my house, we'll watch all the gay movies in one day. So we watched But I'm a Cheerleader. It's not even like the Gay Straight Alliance was that time consuming. I made it that time consuming because I just wanted to have a safe space for these kids whose parents were like not cool with them being gay or not cool with them expressing their proper gender identity. And I just like wanted to be able to be like a surrogate mom, like even though I was like 1 or 2 years older. And obviously like it was like one of the best years of GSA history, not to brag, but like, you know, it got kind of derailed by some things, and I couldn't really go to any of the meetings afterwards because I was doing so many other things, and I feel like bad about the fact that I wanted to be there for the people who needed that safe space the most. They needed that room, but the teacher sponsor was like already an LGBT trained teacher and like got like meditation yoga certified or something, so like she started practicing like healthy mental health example things. We created Zen zones and stuff, and every room at that point in our school had like 3 beanbag chairs. So like,
I love that.
Yeah, it was really just a space for people to exist. And it was like,
awesome.
It was better.
Yeah, so we have another question from a student, from Isabella M. They want to know how your queer identity has impacted your activism for gun violence prevention and how we can center the voices of queer people in the gun safety movement.
Honestly, I did not really. I had a really hard time understanding, like, when you're like in your questioning phase.
Yeah.
It's hard when you don't have like a person, like either representation or a person in your life who you can talk to about that stuff. And like, I did have people that I could talk to about that stuff, but when you're like, haven't come out to anybody, you don't want to take the risk.
Right,
You
for
don't know who's actually cool about certain things. Because like, what if they're cool about it in the general sense, but when it comes to you, they're not because it's too close to home. It's like million fears. So, I didn't want to talk to anybody about it, like especially my classmates, because I didn't want it to like get around before I even knew what I knew.
Right.
And like, so I spent months of questioning and stuff and like freaking myself out. And I was like very quiet. Like, in my opinion, I was very quiet in that time period. And I really didn't ever want that to happen again. So, when I finally came out in class, I actually wrote, I'm gonna go grab it really quick. I wrote this children's book called It's Okay to Be Gay. It's beautiful. This is dedicated to all the parents who won't buy it because of the title. But I drew my little self when I had hair, and I was like, hello, my name is Emma, and I'm bi. And I was like, this is how I came out to my class. I got the Westboro Baptist Church up in here, the scary, scary pop-up book section. I got the page of flags and stuff. So it was just like a really, really nice, moment. I was able to explore my communication about my gender and sexuality in one of my creative writing classes, and I just really ran with it. And because I came out to everybody in my class that day, I just kind of and eventually came out to my parents. I didn't want to have any part of me that felt like it was stifled, ever again. It felt so painful to not be fully honest when I wanted to be.
Well, one of the reasons we brought you here was to talk about voter registration, because GLSEN is launching a new voter registration thing to inspire the next generation of LGBTQ plus voters. I've done a lot of voter registration campaigns at my school, and so can you share with our audience, one, why voter registration is important, and two, some ways that we can all inspire our peers to go out and register and vote?
Well, first of all, voter registration is incredibly important because, unfortunately, it's not like, you're born and you're registered to vote, and when you turn 18, you just start getting your, mail-in ballot. Unfortunately, that's not the case. However, you can vote certain people into power who fight for that to happen. So that can happen. It's not like it says in the Constitution that that's illegal. Like, we can change whatever we need to in order to positively affect us. And one of the main ways to do that is to vote and to get registered to vote. So if you see something going wrong in your community, like if you see parents misbehaving towards their children because, you're like, oh, my child is gay and I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. If you get them registered to vote, and if you yourself are registered to vote, and you maybe encourage one of your classmates, so long as they're over 18, to run for city council or something, even if they don't win, even if they get a significant amount of votes or something, people will see, oh my gosh, the youth are trying to take this, they're trying to make the world a better place. And what if they're a queer person, or what if they're a gender ambiguous person or something, you know what I mean? People will be there really are people like that in my community. What if my child is like that? I need to think about this more, and that's something we need. We need people who are ready to vote as soon as they turn 18. My parents raised us every 4th of July, they were about to hand us a sparkler, and then they'd be like, you can't take this until you promise to vote when you're 18, okay? Say it. And then we'd be like, I promise to vote when I'm 18. And then they'd be like, okay, here's your sparkler. And of course, I hate 4th of July now, and I especially hate fireworks. But the principle still stands that children should be told, growing up, they should be encouraged to vote when they get old enough. I don't understand when people are like, I don't want to vote. And it's I understand there are a lot of other factors. Sometimes you feel like your vote doesn't count. Sometimes it feels like, even if you are the one person who doesn't vote, it doesn't matter because one vote never made a difference. In Florida, typically that has been the truth. So if you're in Florida, please vote because this state sucks and it's really bad. And we need
Anywhere in the South, if you're below the Mason-Dixon line, please vote. Please.
Yeah. You know what? If you're below the Mason-Dixon line, you have like a responsibility to vote for people who encourage better education. Because somebody in one of my college classes the other day asked, "What's the Mason-Dixon line?" And I was like, honey, we're not in the 3rd grade. A, how do you not know that? And B, Google is right there. Please do not take up our time with this question. Like, education needs to be so much better.
Yeah.
Like, blown away. Sorry, I'm still thinking about that. Yeah, like, voting is incredibly important, and I understand the apathy that goes with it. But it's like, you should just, like, treat it like, you know, getting a meningitis booster. Or, like, you know, go to the doctor.
It can't hurt. Like, even if your vote doesn't count, just do it anyway, because it might. Like...
You might as well. How much time does it really take out of your day? I wish I had the luxury of not voting. You know what I mean? Like, and if you are an undocumented person who can't vote, like, talk to the people that you know who can vote and encourage them to vote in your favor. If they're not already doing that, because they should be doing that, because they should care about you like that. You know, like, everybody, like, if you feel like you don't want to vote or something, think about the one person who would be impacted the most in your life by something bad happening from a political official getting into office that shouldn't be getting into office. Don't think about yourself. Think about your community.
Yeah.
Like, that's what really matters when it comes to voting. It really does not take that much time.
It doesn't. It's not hard. And I think that's something that people should consider. You know, I hear a lot of young people especially say that, like, politics doesn't affect me, or it doesn't matter, or whatever.
Like, bitch, do you drink water? Do you eat food? Yes, it does affect you.
I think understanding the connection between things is really important, and hopefully going forward, people will understand that and actually vote for people who care about them and who care about their friends. So, yeah.
I feel like at this point, everybody's realizing that politics really do affect them with all of this that's going on. It's like, they've been affecting you. It's been affecting you, and you didn't notice because you were in that little bubble. That little bubble has to pop sometime. That little bubble, it's gotta pop sometime. Like, you gotta look around. You gotta read some books. You gotta move on.
So we're running low on time, but I wanted to wrap up with one more student submitted question. So Jess C wants to know what your biggest piece of advice is for student advocates.
Definitely get educated and think very hard about the problems that you see in your community and the solutions that you could possibly put into place to fix them. Like, you know, it's one thing to get on top of a car and shout in the midst of a bunch of people and be like, this is what we need to do. But you gotta remember, like, everybody that's affected by the problem in your community, and you want to make sure that when you fight for the solution that everybody is included in that solution. You want to think about the lowest person in the socioeconomic political system that is affected by that problem, and you want to make sure that they get the benefit too. If it only benefits some of the people, like if a problem is erased for only some people, so like white people or only Black people or only gay people, it's not gone. The problem is still there. You really need to educate yourself as to who is completely affected by your actions. You can mean something totally well-intentioned, and it can totally backfire on you.
Yeah.
And like, as much as, you know, that might hurt you, you have to get up and say, like, you have to own your mistakes. You're going to make mistakes in this sphere. There's no way you can't make mistakes. You have to own them, though. Just admit that you were wrong.
On that note, it was so great to talk to you. You're awesome. This was super fun. And so we're going to pass things back to Oliver and Chris Staley.
Thank you so much, Elle and Emma. Emma, I remember the first time I saw you as an activist. I was so empowered, and you continue to inspire me to this day.
Yes, I love Emma and her work. I remember seeing her when I was younger and being so inspired to stand up like she did. We're actually just joining just now because we heard that we have a special guest.
Hey everybody, Charlie Carver here. Just wanted to congratulate you for showing up today for today's Break the Silence. I know that these are such uncertain and strange times, but the fact that you have decided to show up for this today and do whatever you can to, more importantly than anything, get people to register to vote, but also fight for equality, it's remarkable. So all of my thanks and all of my congratulations. I hope this finds you safe and well, and I'm more than certain that when this is all done, we will find a way to celebrate in person. So take care and fight on.
I am very excited about this next part of the rally. We are going to introduce GLSEN's GSA of the Year. This award is presented at the GLSEN Respect Awards, and last year my GSA was fortunate enough to be honored, and I had the privilege this year of joining the GSA of the Year committee. So GSAs across the country are organizing in ways to support members of their GSA during this time in quarantine, and I could not be prouder to be a part of this movement with all of you.
Yes, LGBTQ youth have been leading the movement, and we will continue to organize and advocate. Okay, now for GSA of the Year, drum roll please. The 2019-2020 GSA of the Year is the Rainbow Royales, a middle school in Hawaii. Founded in 2014, the Ilima Rainbow Royales Club was the first GSA in a middle school in the entire state of Hawaii. As island residents, these students are very concerned with the issue of climate change and have participated in the International Youth Climate Strike, spoken at government meetings, and appeared on TV to discuss these issues. They participated in GLSEN's Ally Week, No Name Calling Week, and Day of Silence. Their largest project this year was involved with menstrual equity. The Rainbow Royales GSA started a menstrual supply drive for all genders that turned into an equity education campaign, and ultimately a bill in the Hawaii state legislature for free tampons and pads at all public schools. These students bravely testified on HB 2430 at the Hawaii State Capitol. The bill is currently in the Senate, and we're hopeful that it will pass. They will be honored at this year's Virtual Respect Awards. Congratulations to the Rainbow Royales and every GSA for continuing to organize and support each other, especially now as we stay home and flatten the curve.
This has been an incredible day. Navigating the pandemic in uncertain times requires us to really focus on our capacity and being gentle with ourselves. However you showed up today, big or small, quiet or loud, we are proud of you and we are with you.
Today, more than ever, we are realizing how intertwined our global community is. From Ecuador to Nigeria and India, we continue to fight for our classmates who don't have a choice but to stay silent. Our movement is beautiful, and it relies on the amazing students that we have on the other side of this screen and the work that you continue to do in your communities. We might be starting at different points, or even starting today, but every effort matters. So today, let's lean into love, whether it is for ourselves, for the ones who fought before us, or for our classmates around the world. Let's love our identities and our chosen families. Let's love our minds, our passions, and our hearts. Let's love in a world where love is even more needed. Thank you for joining us today, and it's been a joy to hear from everyone. For more information on how to get involved and use your voice, check us out at glsen.org.